Yo ho ho, Don Mafia. Welcome to yet another edition of the Don Mafia Report. Ladies and gentlemen, that is right. You read the title correctly. I sincerely believe that Ed Oliver is going to have a Pro Bowl caliber season in 2020 and really be a game changer on our defense, right? So many people like to talk about our secondary, but a lot of the times our defensive line, right in the trenches, gets ignored. And you really have no idea how much of a contribution not only the defensive line makes in making our whole defense connect and be top three, maybe even the best defense in the league, but Ed Oliver specifically. And we're going to deep dive into not only his 2019 season, but what to expect exactly in 2020. Don Mafia, before I dive into that, I need to give a giant announcement. You've heard me say this before, but I recently just ended up getting signed by a sports network. It's launching July 4th, and it's called Fan to Fan Network. Say, for example, that you're sick of ESPN, you're sick of Fox Sports, you're sick of whatever other media outlet that you watch today. We are building an exclusive online system, an online platform that gives you the sports takes that you deserve. It's going to be me, 31 other YouTubers that cover their own respective team, and then the Fantasy Football Counselor. It's a giant collaboration, and we're going to change the way that you guys watch football coverage. It's launching on July 4th, as mentioned previously, and we're going to be streaming on Twitch exclusively. Do keep in mind there's going to be a website, with blogs, with my videos, podcasts. There's going to be a page devoted to each and every single team, blah, blah, blah. But as far as watching our network, it's going to be on Twitch. So if I have ever given you some type of value, I've made you laugh, you're a part of the Don Mafia, it would be so much appreciated if you were to hit the link in my description or in the pinned comment and subscribe to our Twitch channel. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be huge. Without further ado, guys, let's dive in to the video. So, Ed Oliver, right? When we drafted him, we were, super excited. We ended up getting a defensive tackle out of the University of Houston, and as Bills fans, we were hopeful that the guy was going to come in and he was going to make an immediate impact. Now, that didn't happen, right? Throughout the beginning of his 2019 career, his rookie season itself, he really didn't wow the world with some of his numbers, right? In fact, you know how pessimistic Bills fans can be. I'm pretty sure I was scrolling through Twitter by week 4 or week 5, and there was a couple of people claiming that he was a bust. First off, that's ridiculously idiotic, but I digress. And so regardless of the position that you play in the NFL, it's going to take a little bit of time for you to make that progression, make that adjustment into the NFL itself. And so while Oliver didn't wow us with his sacks, blah, 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 he did show very early signs of being a strong mother. And that sort of carried on throughout the 2019 season until he started absolutely blowing up. In weeks 11 through 13, he finally started to get his sack production with recording 4 sacks in just a 3-week period. And so, of course, his biggest game being against the Dallas Cowboys, where he recorded 2 sacks and a forced fumble. But then again, let's be realistic, what Buffalo Bill did not completely show out during that game, right? So right at the end of 2019, Ed Oliver finished up with 43 tackles, 5 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. Now, from a rookie perspective, that is, fantastic. That's great, especially for a young defensive tackle. But one of the biggest stats that a lot of people don't talk about is that Ed Oliver was actually 7th in the entire NFL for pass rush win rate. And when you think about it, that's absolutely insane, especially when you consider the fact that he was on the field only slightly more, and then his rotational partner, Jordan Phillips. So right now, the sky is the limit for this guy. Now, we all know what happened during the offseason. We couldn't agree on a deal with Jordan Phillips, and he ended up going over to the Arizona Cardinals. But while a lot of people might be nervous, and so if you look at the progression that Ed Oliver has made in 2019 going into 2020, and now you're almost going to assume that his snap count is going to increase about 10 to 15%. I mean, most likely we're going to be seeing the guy out in the field 65 to 67% of the snaps coming out this year. One can only assume barring injury, that the guy is going to absolutely 10x his numbers. And now we all know that he's been working his ass off during the offseason, and then he also had that little hiccup while he was drinking and whipping around a dune buggy or something on a Saturday. But, I mean, there's no question in my mind that Ed Oliver is absolutely about to blow up this year. Now, since Jordan Phillips is going to be gone, he is going to be probably having a rotational relationship with Quentin Jefferson, which makes it even more interesting is the fact that Quentin Jefferson was 5th in the NFL for pass rush win rate. So there's so many questions moving forward about what exactly Ed Oliver is going to do in 2020. But in my opinion, I think that he's going to be one of the big names on our defense, and he's really, really going to show out the second that Sean McDermott gives him just a little bit more of a role within our defense. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to a relatively short episode of the Don Mafia Report. Say that you're new here. My name is Dan Mitchell. I regularly put out Buffalo Bills and NFL videos. If that's your cup of tea, I highly recommend smashing the shit out of that subscribe button, hitting the out of that like button, and walking outside, running down the street and screaming, "Let's go Buffalo."